The global music industry was once a closed club where only a few people held the keys to success. For decades, the world mostly listened to songs from the United States or the United Kingdom. Breaking into the international market while singing in a different language or coming from a small, unknown company was considered impossible. Yet a few special groups decided to ignore the rules. They did not just want to be famous in their home countries, they wanted to change the world. Through years of tears, thousands of hours of practice, and a refusal to give up when they were at their lowest points, these artists proved that talent and hard work can beat any system. In this video, we honor the incredible journeys of 6 Asian pop groups who stood their ground, broke every barrier, and turned the impossible into reality. The story of Perfume is a story of extreme patience. Most pop groups either become famous quickly or disappear within a few years. Perfume did neither. They spent nearly a decade in the shadows before anyone noticed them. The group consists of 3 members: Ayano Oomoto, Nochi, Yuka Kashino, Kashiyuka, and Ayaka Nishiwaki, A-chan. They started in 2000 as actors at the Actors School Hiroshima, a place where young kids went to learn how to sing and dance. At first, they were just a local group, but they had a dream that was much bigger than their hometown. In 2003, they moved to Tokyo. This is often where the dream ends for many young artists, because the city is expensive and the competition is brutal. For several years, they lived through what is known as the Beehive era. They released indie singles that did not sell very well. They were considered Akiba K idols, which meant they were seen as a niche group for a very specific type of fan in the Akihabara district, rather than mainstream stars. But everything changed when they met producer Yasutaka Nakata. He gave them a techno-pop identity, using heavy vocal processing like auto-tune and vocoders to make them sound like futuristic robots. This was a huge risk. In the mid-2000s, most people wanted idols to sound natural. The girls themselves actually fought back against the idea at first because they wanted to show off their real voices. But they trusted the music. In 2007, they were chosen for a national recycling campaign by NHK, the biggest broadcaster in Japan. The song used in the commercial was polyrhythm. It had a very strange section where the rhythms overlapped in a complex way. NHK wanted to cut that part out, but the group and their producer insisted on keeping it. It was that exact weird part that caught the public's ear. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know who these 3 girls were. Polyrhythm became a monster hit, and Perfume became the first idol group in history to perform at the Summer Sonic Festival, a place usually reserved for rock stars and famous international artists. Their first major album, Game, hit #1 on the Oricon charts in 2008. This was a massive achievement because it was the first time a techno-pop group had reached the top spot since the legendary Yellow Magic Orchestra did it in 1983. They had turned a dead genre into the most popular sound in Japan. Perfume's success proved that you do not have to follow the current fashion to be successful. You can create your own fashion. Even when they were featured in the American movie Cars 2.
Look at this! Okay, now Mater, remember, best behavior. You got it!
They stayed true to their unique sound. They showed that persistence pays off, and that weird music can become world music if you believe in it enough.
Check out that tow truck.
Man, I wonder who that guy's with. Will you guys excuse me just for one little second?
AKB48. the underdogs who built an empire. If Perfume showed the power of music, AKB48 showed the power of the people. Created by Yasushi Akimoto in 2005, AKB48 was a group built on a totally new idea: idols you can meet. Traditionally, pop stars were seen as untouchable gods who lived far away in big mansions. Akimoto wanted to change that. He wanted to create a group of underdogs and diamonds in the rough who performed every single day in a small theater in Akihabara. The beginning was a disaster. On their very first night in December 2005, only 7 people showed up to watch the 20 girls perform. Think about that. There were more girls on stage than fans in the seats. Most people would have quit right then, but AKB48 did not. They kept performing every day, even when the room was mostly empty. They built their fame one fan at a time. The members were not chosen because they were the best singers or the most beautiful. They were chosen because they felt like the girl next door. Akimoto famously chose Maeda Atsuko as the center of the group because she was an awkward 14-year-old who cried because she didn't think she was good enough. This made fans want to support her even more.
2回目の大きな決断をさせてください。
The group's growth was unstoppable. They invented the handshake event, where fans who bought a CD could actually meet the members and talk to them for a few seconds. This created a deep emotional bond that traditional stars could never match. Fans felt like they were part of the group's success. By 2011, AKB48 was a social phenomenon. They were selling over 1 million copies of every single they released. They even set a Guinness World Record for being the largest pop group in the world, with over 100 members divided into different teams. AKB48 reached the top of the Japanese music industry and stayed there for over a decade. They are the 7th best-selling girl group in world history. They proved that a group of ordinary girls could become extraordinary if they had the courage to show their struggles to the world. They turned the idol industry into a participatory democracy where the fans decided who became a star. The story of Twice is one of immense pressure and beautiful diversity. They were formed in 2015 through a survival show called 16, where 16 girls had to fight for a spot in a new group. This was not just a singing contest. It was an emotional battle. The girls were divided into major and minor teams, and their status could change every week. Some members were eliminated only to be brought back later because they were too talented to lose, like Momo, who was JYP's personal choice to complete the group. At the heart of Twice is Jihyo, their leader. Jihyo is a symbol of never-ending pride. She trained for 10 years before she finally got to debut. She started when she was just a small child and watched many of her friends debut while she stayed behind in the practice room. During 16, she was even criticized for her weight, but she never let it break her spirit. When she finally stood on stage as the leader of Twice, it was a victory for anyone who has ever been told they have to wait for their dream. Twice is also a geopolitical miracle. The group has members from Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. The Japanese members, Mina, Sana, and Momo, moved to Korea as teenagers without knowing the language. Sana, in particular, worked so hard that she is now considered goated at Korean, with some people even mistaking her for a native speaker. However, being a multinational group is not easy. Tsuyu, the Taiwanese member, was once caught in a massive political controversy just for holding a flag on a TV show. She was only 16 at the time and was forced to apologize for something that was not her fault. The group stayed by her side, showing that their bond as sisters was stronger than any political border. Twice has become one of the most successful girl groups in history, selling over 54 million records. They're the only group to achieve the same level of fame in both Korea and Japan, bridging the gap between two countries that have a complicated history. They showed that 9 girls from different backgrounds could come together to create a universality that appeals to everyone. Their success is a victory for friendship over xenophobia.
BTS, the underdogs who conquered the planet. When we talk about making the impossible possible, we have to talk about BTS. Today, they are the biggest band in the world, but in 2013, they were nobodies. They came from a tiny company called Big Hit Entertainment, which was so small it could barely afford to keep the lights on. At the time, the big 3 companies controlled everything in K-pop. No one thought a group from a small agency could survive, let alone win a Daesong, a major award. The members, RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, lived in a single cramped room and practiced for 15 hours a day. Their early music was not about typical pop themes. It was about the pain and anxiety of being young in a world that demands too much from you. They spoke about things that were considered taboo, like mental health and the flaws in the school system. This honesty created a connection with fans that went beyond music. Fans didn't just like BTS, they felt like BTS was fighting for them. The road was incredibly hard. Even as they started winning awards in the West, they were suffering internally. In 2018, at the Mama Awards in Hong Kong, the group stood on stage to accept the Artist of the Year award. Instead of just saying thank you, Jin revealed a heartbreaking secret. Earlier that year, the group had sat down to talk about disbanding because they were so emotionally exhausted. The members were crying so hard they could barely speak. They were at the top of the world, but they felt like they were crumbling. They chose to stay together for the fans, and that decision changed history. BTS has now achieved 6 #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 this decade, more than Drake, Taylor Swift, or Ariana Grande. They became the first Korean group to headline stadiums in the US, and the first to be nominated for a Grammy. They proved that it doesn't matter how small your company is or what language you sing in. If your message is real, the world will listen. They are not just pop stars, they are a movement that changed how the Western world looks at Asian artists.
SB19 is the group that represents the pride of the Philippines. Formed in 2018 by Show BT, a Korean company that wanted to bring the idol training system to the Philippines, the group faced a lot of hate at first. People called them fake K-pop and said Filipinos should not try to act like Koreans. But SB19, Pablo, Josh, Stel, Ken, and Justin were determined to show that they were a uniquely Filipino group. They practiced for years with almost no money. Like the other groups on this list, they were very close to giving up. In 2019, they were considering walking away from their dreams because nobody was listening to their music. Then a miracle happened. A fan named Lyra, @Bay_Sodu, posted a video of their Go Up dance practice on Twitter. The video went viral because their dancing was incredibly sharp and synchronized. They had practiced that dance over 1,000 times until it was perfect, and that hard work finally paid off. Since then, SB19 has been breaking records for Southeast Asia. They were the first Southeast Asian act to be nominated for a Billboard Music Award, competing against BTS and Ariana Grande. Their song Gento became a global sensation on TikTok and was even an approved entry for the Grammy Awards. To take control of their own future, they left their old company and started 1Z Entertainment, with Pablo as the CEO. They are now truly independent artists who are paving the way for a whole new generation of P-pop stars. SB19's journey is a source of intense pride for the Philippines. They proved that Filipino talent is world-class and that with the right training and dedication, they can stand on the same stage as the biggest stars in the world. They didn't just copy a system, they mastered it and made it their own. BLACKPINK, the queens of the main stage. BLACKPINK is the definition of power. Since their debut in 2016 under YG Entertainment, they have focused on a girl crush concept that encourages women to be strong, independent, and fashionable. The group, Jennie, Jisoo, Rosé, and Lisa, has a global appeal that is almost unmatched in the modern era. Their journey at Coachella is the perfect example of their growth. In 2019, they made history as the first K-pop girl group to perform at Coachella. They played in the Sahara tent, and the energy was so high that it changed how American festivals looked at K-pop. But they weren't done. In 2023, they returned to Coachella, this time as the headliners. This was a massive moment. They were the first Korean artists to ever headline the biggest music festival in North America. The group has broken almost every record for a girl group. They were the first to top the Billboard 200 albums chart with their album Born Pink. Their music videos consistently get over 1 billion views on YouTube, and they are the most followed musical act on the platform. Each member is also a global star on their own, representing the biggest fashion brands in the world and releasing solo music that hits the top of the charts. BLACKPINK proved that a girl group could be just as powerful and influential as any male act. They showed that you can be a pop star, a fashion icon, and a powerful performer all at the same time. They didn't just break the glass ceiling, they shattered it into 1 million pieces. Why they are the groups of the impossible. When we look at all these groups together, we see a pattern. None of them had an easy path. Every single one of them faced a moment where everyone told them they would fail. They were too weird, too ordinary, too small, or too different. But they chose to believe in their dreams and their fans. These groups changed the world by using the internet to speak directly to people. They didn't need the permission of Western radio stations or big magazines. They used YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok to build communities that were so strong that the industry could no longer ignore them. They also showed that music is a universal language. Whether it is a techno-pop beat from Perfume, a meaningful lyric from BTS, or a powerful dance break from SB19, people around the world felt the emotion behind the music. These titans of pop have paved a road that used to be blocked. Because of them, a kid in Hiroshima, a teenager in Akihabara, or a dreamer in Manila knows that their voice can be heard by millions. They didn't just make hits, they made history. They took the word impossible and crossed out the first 2 letters. If you were inspired by these stories of pride and hard work, subscribe to our channel Star Files for more in-depth stories on the stars who changed our world.